Hey, welcome in once again as Georgia gets ready for another ball game on the road at South Carolina this Saturday night at 7:30. And again, the official kick time is 7:39 in Columbia. Kevin Butler and Eric Zier are here as we'll take a look at this game this week. And first, guys, and Kevin, we'll start with you today. Uh, is Georgia offering South Carolina something this week that no other opponent has really seen before Mississippi State? I mean, I think we found a quarterback, right?
Yeah, I think so, Scott. I think that last week was certainly a coming out party for Georgia's offense, and that certainly was led by JT coming out and just having a really good, solid game. And I think that's all we were really looking for. We weren't expecting the 400 yards and the 4 TDs, but I think we would have settled for 200 yards and 2 TDs if we could have gotten out with the win. But it took all 4 of those scores to solidify a win for Georgia last week. So it certainly is different. You're not going to be able to stack that box like we've seen everybody do for it seems like the past 20 years, but it's been the past 2 years. And that causes Georgia some problems because we couldn't get the field elongated. We couldn't get it vertical. And now we are. And at least it's a threat. And we had success last week. So, yeah, I agree with you, Scott. It's a new scouting report this week for Georgia's offense.
Kevin is spot on for a long time now. I mean, really going back into, I guess the great national championship run and the Rose Bowl run. We have not made people pay for stacking the box, loading the box, and just all out trying to stop the run until last weekend. Now we've got to go do that again and again and again. One game does not a trend make, but it is on film right now that if you try to go load the box up against Georgia, we've got the playmakers and the talent and the skill set to beat you and to make you pay and make you pay in a hurry. It is what this Georgia offense has missed, all through last year. Probably going back a little bit into the year before last, and most definitely this year, where there's been zero for defenses to worry about. I can load the box. I can go all out on stopping the run because you're not going to beat me deep, and I don't have that to worry about. That mindset, if you're a defensive coordinator, that has to go away. Everybody on our offensive side looked better. Our playmakers looked better than they have looked in a long time. We've got some skill and some talent that can go get the football and go hurt you. So it is a new dawn for Georgia football, or at least the start of it. We have to replicate it. We have to continue doing what we did, but it's on film. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm thinking twice right now about loading the box up against this offense.
So are either of you guys concerned that the Bulldogs did not run the ball well at all last week?
Well, yeah, I'm concerned. You want to see that offensive line come together, Scott, and be, if you're going to be a full-fledged offensive line, you got to do 2 things. That's pass protect and obviously solidify that run. And you got to give Mississippi State some credit, though. They're very good up front. That is the talent of their team right now, and they brought it. I thought they were mentally ready to play, being a lot of players down. I think they had talked about it probably all week that, listen, you're going to feel tired, but we're not going to have the luxury of putting somebody else in. You got to play hard, and those guys certainly did. So, yeah, I'm concerned. You got to have both of them against a team like this. You remember the last time South Carolina beat us here, we gave the ball up 2 times on interceptions, and that was really the difference in the game. So if you're not running, you're going to be able to you're going to have to use that passing game, and if it's that one-dimensional, gosh, you just don't want to be a one-dimensional offense.
So I'm not concerned at all. I know we can run the football. We've done it against that defensive look. Why run the football? If you're going to go line up with George Pickens on the outside and Burton on the outside and Kearis Jackson on the outside, you're going to go line up one-on-one against them. I'm going to throw it every down. If I've got the capability and the skill set, it's what I should do. The great thing about offensive football is you get the last choice. I can go adapt to what I'm seeing, and I can do it at the line of scrimmage, and I'm going to go make you pay. Now, if we can't go run the football Once we start to loosen people up, now I'll become concerned about it, and it will become a worry. One snapshot in time with the way that Missouri, or not Missouri, Mississippi State was playing us, loading the box, how aggressive they were moving downhill. It is, we shouldn't have run the football. We should be throwing it, and get them loose and make other teams play. But the more we stretch the field vertically, the less we'll see that all out effort to stop the run, and we will be able to run the football. To Kevin's point, you have to be balanced. You want to be balanced. But if a defensive team is going to put together a scheme that is that unbalanced against us, meaning I'm stopping the run and go beat us with the pass, well, then I'm going to go beat you with the pass, and I'm going to beat you throwing the football, and I'll force you to get out of it. Once we force teams to get out of it, then if we can't go run the football, different conversations. But in one game, I'm much more excited about what I saw us go do, because we were remarkably efficient throwing the football.
Kevin pointed out South Carolina's win last year, and at the time, that was considered probably the program win for Will Muschamp at South Carolina. Here it is a year later, and he's no longer the head coach there. I guess that shows you how quickly this game can turn around on you. Kevin pointed out they had a couple of interceptions. The guy that had those interceptions, Mukwamu, has now opted out, so he's not even on the roster anymore. They've had a handful of other players that have opted out. They've got some injuries that they're dealing with. They're 2-6, coaching change. How does all that affect what they're doing over there, our preparation, and what we're getting ready to do in this game on Saturday night?
Yeah, so it won't affect what we're doing at all. Those are big problems that they've got, but they're their problems. Our preparation and how we're getting ready for this football game, none of that should really matter in how we prepare. We need to block out all that noise. You can get in trouble if you start thinking that the team that you're going to go play is not ready or not capable of beating you. So you've got to mentally be sharp and tough. No different than in big games. You can't get too emotionally high in the big games. In a game that you should win, you've got to really get locked in and be disciplined and focused on what you have to go do to win a football game, because South Carolina still is dangerous. We saw that with Mississippi State last weekend. They brought 49 scholarship guys over, but they were wounded and they were ready to play. And those guys that were there had pride. I thought Mississippi State played one of their better football games. I expect that we'll see a competitive South Carolina football team, but none of that should matter in terms of how we prepare. And if there's one great thing that Coach Smart has done since he's been here, it has been about every single day getting better at what we do, achieving our excellence, playing to our standard. I think that will continue. And if South Carolina continues to reel from some of the challenges they've had, they've got to go deal with that. We need to continue to get better, play it at very, very high levels. And I think what you just saw last weekend from Georgia can galvanize a team. If we play really good football from here on out, it could be a springboard into not only the rest of this year, but into next year as well.
Yeah, I think that South Carolina comes and, they've got to kind of try to pick the Achilles heel right now on Georgia. And with the quarterback being solidified last week, it's kind of hard to find that Achilles heel. I think with Coach Bobo taking over there, he's a quarterback guy, offensive coordinator. He knows in order to stop Georgia, the expectations were set high last week by JT Daniels in what people now expect him to do in a game. So if Bobo can get that a little off tilt and not have him as productive, I think that gives South Carolina hope. I don't think it gives them a great advantage, but it gives them hope to a team that's outscored Georgia's production in the second half by almost 50 points. So they tend to score a little bit more later in the game, maybe because they've been behind, but you got to respect that. I think Bobo knows one thing about JT. If he has one issue that he needs to work on, and Eric can speak more to this, but it's his lower body. It's not his upper body. He's got arm strength. It's having his lower body and his feet in position to make the proper throw. Sometimes you saw him throw it off the back foot, 1 foot in the air. Once he gets more comfortable, he's going to be much more solidified in the lower body if South Carolina can get him moving and uncomfortable and throwing off balance, that might give them a chance to get a couple of those picks, even with their top defensive back out.
Let me get one final thing from each of you. You know, what is a key to the game, I guess, as a cliche? What does Georgia have to do to go in and play well on Saturday? Just if you can pick out one thing, either offense or defense, what do you guys like?
I'll start. You know, defensively, we have to eliminate explosive plays. It is bitten us week after week after week, even against Mississippi State, that was dinking and dunking us all game long, kind of by design and by game plan. We still, in that football game last weekend, gave up explosive plays, and we're just too good defensively to allow that to continue to happen to us. So you could say a lot of things on the offensive side of the ball. We want to get a little bit more balanced. You know, have to continue to make teams pay if they want to get in single safety and go man up on the outside. For me, it really is for us to get this football team playing across the board where we need to. Offensively, need to continue what we did last week, and then defensively, just shut down the explosive plays, make teams drive the field. But we can't allow offensive players to be running behind our defense anymore this year. We're just too good for it. And I think it's time now that stops because you let teams in football games when you give up big play after big play.
Kevin,
Yeah, I'm
what's
agree
important
with
to you?
I'm agree with him, Scott. Defense. I want to see improvement on the defense. I know that Bobo will come in here and light us up through the air if he sees something, and he certainly has seen something the past two games, especially in the flats, the backs out of the backfield. And just like Eric said, even though we're keeping them in front, we're letting people get behind us, and they're making big plays. You know, Coach Smart is a defensive-minded head coach. Maybe a lot has been spent on quarterback, but I'd like to see them focus a little bit more. We've gotten guys that have played now 2 games that had played a lot before the start of 2 games because of injuries, but you need to see some balance start to come up on that defense and them start to play a little bit more consistent. And that starts with just what Eric says, eliminating these big plays. You just can't allow teams to stay in a game like this with big plays. That not only keeps them in the game, but it gives them a great shot of confidence going down the stretch.
It's Georgia and South Carolina Saturday in Columbia. 7:39 is the official kick time. Our broadcast starts at 3:30 with Kevin and Jeff. Dog Talk pregame at 3:30 on the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network, and 4:30 from the stadium for the tailgate show, and then kickoff at 7:39. And another SEC East matchup, Georgia and South Carolina. The Bulldogs are 5-2, Carolina at 2-6. But these guys are going to say none of that matters. You throw out the record books for this one. We saw it last year when South Carolina upset the Dogs in Athens. Guys, good to see you again. And we hope to see you on Saturday on the radio. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.